Hello, my name is Noelle Elefante, and for my favorite part of the brain presentation, I chose the nucleus accumbens and why we keep scrolling even when we're tired or exhausted. So, the nucleus accumbens is part of the reason for this behavior. It's part of the basal ganglia, which is a collection of nuclei within the central hemispheres that participate in the reward system of the brain. And I took this definition from the class textbook, Discovering Behavioral Neuroscience, An Introduction to Biological Psychology by Laura A. Freeberg. Specifically, the nucleus accumbens is located in the ventral, which means front or bottom part of the basal ganglia, or the head of the caudate nucleus and putamen come together. So in this diagram, here is the head of the caudate nucleus right here, and then here is the putamen, and then in the middle there, when they kind of come together, is the nucleus accumbens. There's also two identical structures, and there's one nucleus accumbens in each of the hemispheres of the brain. So how does the nucleus accumbens keep us scrolling? So typically when people go to bed, they plan on checking their phone for a few minutes and then going to bed. Usually people open up some kind of social media platform like TikTok or Instagram, and when you're scrolling, you experience pleasure while watching the videos or whatever content you see on those apps. And the neurons in the ventral tegmental area fire and release dopamine along the mesolimbic pathway to the nucleus accumbens. And dopamine helps to signal that something is rewarding. It's not just the pleasure signal, but it motivates us to repeat behaviors that could lead to that reward again. So the nucleus accumbens processes the reward signal, and it helps to make the experience of scrolling feel rewarding, and it increases your motivation to continue to keep that feeling, because your brain is now anticipating the next reward, basically. And that's where, even when you're tired or exhausted, scrolling before bed, that's what keeps you scrolling and makes it difficult to stop. And over time, non-stop scrolling before bed only strengthens this behavior, and the brain then can start to associate bedtime with scrolling, and it can cause you to look forward to scrolling before bed, and that anticipation then outweighs the feelings of tiredness that you get. And the unpredictable nature of social media as well doesn't help the situation, because it helps to really keep the brain anticipating another reward, because you don't know what you're going to see next when you're scrolling. And it keeps the nucleus accumbens engaged and continues that motivation to scroll. This could also then build a habit of scrolling and potentially cause chronic sleep deprivation, which is a whole other issue, which is very big in today's society as well, with the increase in phone usage. So one research study that I found when I was researching this part of the brain was altered functional connectivity of the nucleus accumbens and amygdala in cyber addiction, a resting state functional magnetic resonance image study. So in 2023 is when the study was, and basically the researchers used resting state fMRI to compare adolescents with cyber addiction to adolescents without cyber addiction. And in the study, they found that altered functional connectivity, which refers to how different brain regions communicate with each other and work together, involved the nucleus accumbens in adolescents with cyber addiction. On the image here, this is taken from the study, and in this area, the purple highlighted area on the image scan, the purple region indicates where communication to the left nucleus accumbens was different in adolescents with cyber addiction. And the researchers said that these findings suggest that cyber addiction may share biological similarities to other addictive disorders as well. And the study helps to support the idea that the nucleus accumbens plays an important role in reinforcing excessive phone usage. So why this part of the brain is my favorite? I feel like before this class, I didn't really know that much about this part of the brain. I feel like it's not as talked about as the hippocampus or amygdala. But its role in the brain's reward system is fascinating to me, especially how it influences everyday behaviors like scrolling on social media, which the majority of the population does. And I think it's important for people to understand how the nucleus accumbens, along with the other parts of the reward system, work together to reinforce habits like scrolling before bed or scrolling even when you're tired and you know you should go to bed. Especially because excessive phone usage is very common in today's society. And also, as a college student myself, I've definitely caught myself scrolling on my phone when I'm exhausted before bed, especially when I have an exam the next day or when I know that I need to get a good night's sleep, even though I just keep scrolling anyway. And I think it's interesting to think about how the nucleus accumbens can make that anticipation of another rewarding post or video on social media feel more motivating than actually going to sleep, even though I know what the better choice is, but I don't pick it because that anticipation outweighs those feelings. And I think it'd be very important for other people to know that as well and kind of understand how it's working inside the brain. And here are the references and sources that I used for this presentation. Thank you so much.